Here are the items needed to assemble a paper rocket. Here's a plain sheet of copy paper, 8.5 by 11, that will become the rocket body. You can download the templates for the fins here on the website from Rockits, and there is a template also for nose cones. Cut on the solid line, and then this arrow, it indicates where the tip of the nose cone wants to be. We need scissors for cutting. Toilet paper is used for stiffening the nose cone and providing some weight on the front end of the rocket. We use about 3 to 6 sheets and stuff it up in the nose cone. We use 1/2-inch PVC, a length of about 1 foot long or so, to roll the rocket body onto, and also to push the toilet paper up into the nose cone. And of course we'll need some kind of tape to mate all the pieces of paper together. To make the rocket body, we can take the 8.5 by 11 paper and start it, roll it around and tuck it in. You can do it more than once, and the second time usually makes it tighter, but then it's rolled around the tube like this. You want it to be not too tight, because it needs to slip on and off of the tube fairly easily, because this same size tube will be used to launch the rocket. If you want to have a pattern or a picture on the rocket body, you can use the bottom or 3 inches from one end, and if you print the pattern on those 3 inches and then wrap that on the outside of the rocket, it will make a pattern that'll be visible once it's rolled. Once the paper has been rolled around the PVC pipe, it can be secured with tape, and you'll want to put a few pieces along the edge to hold it down. You don't necessarily need more than this. Notice how that slides out well. This rocket should work fairly well. This method right here, this trick I'm going to show you now, though, will tighten up the rocket on the tube. What we're going to do is we're going to try to tape the edge down, but also make it so that the inside edge won't come loose and catch on the pipe when it's being inserted, when the rocket's being mounted on the tube. So that's what this piece of tape is for. It's just folded in, and then when it's put back on the tube, it should still slide well. There's a pretty good rocket tube. Sometimes I will decide I don't like this and put more tape on it. Next, we can cut out some fins for the stability of the flight of the rocket. We'll need 3 of them. And so you can cut along the solid lines. The dashed lines are just for folding. This sheet will make about 6 rockets. If you're doing an event, one of the things that can be done to help speed up the process for participants is to have these items already cut out. But it is a craft project, and so many participants will enjoy the process. You'll want to plan about an hour or so with some adult supervision for kids in the 5 to 10 age range. Some of them will be frustrated by the process, and some of them will be adept at it. Then this fold line, the first fold line, we'll want to make this side not visible when it's mounted to the rocket. So we'll fold this first edge together and put a good crease on it. Then we want to make a W shape out of it and fold those next edges up like that. And then the last one. And you can see that in the end it makes a kind of a W shape. We will fold them down and then put tape on the edges so that it looks kind of like this. And then it'll be ready to put up against the rocket body about half an inch or so from the bottom edge. We have 3 of the fins ready. We can apply a little tape to each end if you want to go all the way to the end with the tape. And it doesn't have to run the full length of the fin, but it can help. Another trick, an upgrade that can be helpful, is to tape this back edge like that, and it will help keep the fin narrow and thin and straight. Let's see, we'll mount this one to this body. So to get it, we want it about a half an inch from the bottom edge, and try and mount it as straight as it can go. And we can finish off with a little more tape. If the fins are mounted with an angle to them, it will cause the rocket to corkscrew in flight. This one was mounted a little low, but it'll be fine. The next one you want to mount just past a quarter, every third, and then a final one over here. The tape will overlap. Now there are 3 fins mounted on the rocket, and this shows the tube still on the PVC pipe, but it doesn't need to be. It can be assembled with the pipe, without the pipe removed. The most challenging part of this assembly proves to be the nose cone. And it's partly because the shape, creating the shape, can be a little less than straightforward. We'll cut out the circle, and again we'll leave the marked pieces inside. As a little trick, the PDFs, when they're printed, you can change the settings so that the markings are much lighter if you want to, but otherwise they'll print just about exactly like this. So this will be our tip, and so we want to turn the nose cone like this. So you'll grab this edge and then turn it around to where it makes a nose tip, and then you have to work it a little bit. It looks kind of like a snow cone cup, and then wrap it in tighter. You can grab this edge and wrap it. You can tell when it's about the right size to fit on the nose tip here. And it's not, this can be trimmed back. It's not critical that it be exactly, but you'll know you have it about the right size when this shape right here is about even with the edge. Looks about circular. This one's a little big, but it'll work fairly well. Then, to keep it in that shape, we want to tape it right up here where that edge ends. I didn't get it quite right. Okay, that's a pretty good one. And then we know that this goes up in here about that far. So we'll want to trim it and then cut, make some folding darts cuts. It looks, so in the end it'll look about like this. If I cut it like this, it'll smash it. But see, it still fits in there, but now we'll want to tape it on. And I've got that a little bit uneven, so we'll take it off. Now, if we cut up like this, almost to the point where it sits on the edge of the rocket body tube, we can cut these up just a little bit like this, and it will allow us to tape that edge down without having it stick out too much. I could have cut those a little deeper and they would have fallen off okay. All right, so now this should sit up to about right there. Now we can tape it on. Let's see if we can get the tape to work well. It's challenging to get the nose cone to sit just exactly right. Some people will mount it from the inside and put these pieces inside. We believe that it makes a little bit better pressure vessel to hold the pressure of the launcher if we don't mount it on the inside, but we tape it from the outside. So once one side's down, we can have a look and see if we can tip it so that it's straight. That one is not going to be much help. Tip it so that it's straight. This looks pretty good. And then we can tape this down. It's not too bad. Looks like it needs to be adjusted one more time. All right, that's pretty good. And then once the nose cone is pretty well straight and secured, then we'll go all the way around the edge like this and pull it kind of tight so that it can tape all the edges down. All right, that's pretty well done. Let's see if we sit it all the way to the back. Can we see the whole thing? Kind of. The last thing we'll do is add some ballast and padding for the nose cone. The nose cone will take some pretty good hits as the rocket comes back down. So we took 4 sheets of toilet paper off the roll, and we're going to probably do 2 at a time. We'll roll them up and get them to be about the right size to fit in without too much trouble. And then we'll use the pipe as a ramrod and shove it all the way up to the top. And then you can feel that it stiffens up the nose cone a little bit. And yeah, you can't see down there very well. But let's do the same thing again. And I found that about 3 to 6 sheets usually does the job fairly well. We'll get this one up there. It's kind of funny too, if the launcher pressure is too high, then sometimes the rocket won't launch at all. It'll just blow the nose cone up and the toilet paper will come out shredding. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now you can tell that if I get my rocket trying to balance it. See, there we go. It's a little front heavy, nose cone heavy. There we go. Which is what we want, because we want it to have a tendency to be heavier in the front so that it'll fly without tumbling. The fins help this happen. If you don't put fins on, the trajectory of the rocket may be unknown, but it's a good experiment to try a rocket with fins and without fins and see how they react. Another thing you can try is to adjust the fin direction a little bit and see how much it spins, see how much of a rotation can be caused by setting the fins at a small angle. This one is at a small angle. The rest of them are pretty straight comparatively. This rocket is finished. And it's ready to mount to a launcher and launch off. Take a look on the website. There are 2 launcher types. There's a stomp rocket launcher, which is powered by somebody's feet. And then there is a pneumatic launcher that's powered by a bike pump or a compressor.